Yes, guys, and welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102, the king of the dugout. We come to the end of April. Now, this is what's going to really showcase just what's happening. Even though we've still got a few games to go, or one game to go in the first division, but we're going to see what's what now. And it's been quite a remarkable month. It really has on all fronts. Quite a lot to say. First things first. I've just run the month right now, and Stuart Danton. Now there might be a reason behind it, but Stuart Danton did not send his squad in, so I left him with exactly how he left it for last month. Just so you know. So the deadline was yesterday. In fairness, and I should have run it yesterday. So where do we start? Should we start with Mark Rutgers, or should we go with the Premiership? Let's start with the Premiership. The Premiership starts like this. Jesper Ronman is Premiership champion. Now, this is really one hell of a feat. It really is. Because, as I said this before, time and time again, he's not got the greatest squad in the world. But what a fucking season Jesper has had. He's not involved in any cups, or he's been eliminated in them earlier on. And it just shows what a fucking season for Jesper Ronman. Stuart Danton's D-Generation X is in second place. Now, we said he was battling to make that top three, the elusive top three for Champions League, and he's moved into second on goal difference with Trunky's Perfetico Madrid. Now, Trunky's Perfetico Madrid, I've not even checked who's had what. I've had to look at the obvious things that I wanted to check. So I'm guessing Perfetico Madrid have had a bad month. So, where do we start with? Let's start then with some... Let's go to the results then. Oh, he lost his last game. Jesper lost the last game at home to Fulham. K.O.T Generation won there. Perfetico drew there. It makes it difficult, don't it, when I've not got them lit. So let's just have a quick gander. Run, yeah. Okay, so he lost. He won. Yeah, he didn't have a bad month really. I mean, that game against Fulham, he was obviously already Premiership champion, so he'd be gutted to have lost that last game. But do you know what? I don't think he'll care too much. D-Generation X. Okay, so win. So 5 straight wins out of 5 for Stuart Danton. I will set a deadline for the next submission, which will obviously be the conclusion of the season. And if someone, I'll give them a day or so after. When I don't hear back, there might be a logical reason, but I've got to, draw the line. So I just play with whatever they sent last month. But what a month for Stuart Danton. 5 wins out of 5, and he's in second place. Over to Perfetico Madrid, fresh from his League Cup victory. Let's see where it all went wrong for him this month. Sorry, a draw with Liverpool, a defeat against Arsenal, a draw with Charlton. Yeah, it all went wrong, didn't it? So it looks like then it was this weekend just gone where it all went wrong. So 9, no, because it had still been 7 behind. Yeah, so he fucked it up anyway. But do you know what? He won the League Cup. And it's all about the last 2 games of the season now. Let's go to see who's playing. Arsenal, Run Mansion. What a game. Perfetico go to Villa. And D-Gen are entertaining Everton. And then for the last game of the season, D-Gen go to Chelsea. Perfetico entertain Leicester. And our champions-elect Run Mansion entertain Charlton. So, that is that. Before we go to the first division, let's take you to the UEFA Cup, which I've not even looked at. Oh, he's through to the final. Mega Dante's through to the final. So, there we go. He beat Hertha Berlin, and he will meet Dortmund in the final. Let's have a look at Dortmund. Oh, come on. You've got to beat Dortmund. This was always going to be the case, really, with European football. It's... AI English sides will buy players. European sides, they've still got the reputation. They should buy players, but he's not got any... So he's favourites to win that. Come on, Dante. Cross that line. So Dante's through to the UEFA Cup final. He's going to make himself £2 million alone just for reaching the final, at least, if not 4 million. So that is the UEFA Cup final set up, and that will take place in the next month, the 15th of May. Over to the FA Cup. Boom, boom, boom. Dark Destroyers will take on Dunthorpe with semi-final results. I actually already checked this. The reason Dutch Warriors is lit is because that's the team I just took over to get control of the game. Dark Destroyers 1, Dutch Warriors 0. What a result for Matt. He needed that. He's champions bound, isn't he? Let's have a look at the stats. Wow. Wow, that was harsh. That was harsh. Dunthorpe 1, Atletico 5-0. Ross Horn is through to the cup final. Camandini in the 88th minute. You're the underdog going to that final, Ross, and I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you here, Matt. I'm cheering on Meathead Ross. Come on, Ross. You can do it. I've got faith in you. Now, let me also remind you that whoever wins the FA Cup final will go into should go into the UEFA Cup. And the reason I'm saying should is because it's going to be very interesting to see how they work out the European. When I update final league placings, we have to really check that. We have to really work with that. And I don't quite know what's going to happen. But I would say, because Dante, of course, is in the UEFA Cup final, so if he wins that, he should qualify for it again. So we could theoretically have 5 of our guys in European action next season. We should have 5 of our guys, shall I say. Okay, over to, who do we start with? Let's just go straight to Mark Rutgers. Now, I've checked Mark Rutgers, and there was one interesting thing, because he has beaten Matt's Dark Destroyers 2-1 in the league. He's had a decent month. Oh, look at that. He lost to Ross Horn. So, yeah, he beat Matt in the league. Now, that is going to be Matt's first defeat of the season. Let's have a look at that. Deservedly, well done. But the table looks like this. Soylent Green, our Mo, is promoted. He has done it with a game to spare. But the one thing that does stand out to me here, well, there's 2 things. One is that Lee Sharples, we're going to look and see how he did in a minute, but he's confirmed a playoff place. That is bizarre. And it is also confirmed that Lee Sharples' sharpshooters will play the Dutch Warriors. Trump Towers will look at how he's done in the league afterwards, because obviously he's been up there all season long. He's got an extra game in hand. But actually, sorry, I apologise. I've got that wrong. There's no guarantee sharpshooters are going to play Dutch Warriors, because if Trump Towers win their game in hand and then win the last game and overturn the goals deficit against Dutch Warriors, they shouldn't though. But the 2 things for me though was sharpshooters have made it, but also, and I feel really guilty here, because we spoke about this yesterday. Connor's Atletico 5, I said a little while ago, it could all come crashing down. It was looking so good for him, and it's all falling apart for him. He's missed out on the playoffs, he's fallen out of the playoffs, he got knocked out the FA Cup. But Ross on the contrary, he's having a great season. He's in the playoffs, and he's in the FA Cup final. So, wow. So let's start then with the champions of the First Division with a game to spare. Matt Collier, let's have a look now then. He's started out with a victory over North London is red. Advanced to the FA Cup final, lost in the league, and has recorded 5 victories all over the place, 4 of which after the defeat to the Dutch Warriors were against fellow rivals. Soylent Green, that is a massive result there. Oh, he only just scraped that. He scraped that, but he's there. You know, he's crossed the line. And I think Matt would have gladly taken the FA Cup at the expense of losing the unbeaten record, but he hasn't got the FA Cup yet. So, you know what? He's there. He's there. He's in the Premier League next season. Soylent Green, our Mo. Here we go. So, he lost the last game, we know, but he won against sharpshooters, Preston. I mean, 4 wins was massive. 4 league wins is massive. 2 of them were against rivals, and he is promoted at the second time of asking. I was really apprehensive that Soylent Green could blow it again, because they got so close, agonisingly close last season. It was a bit worrying, but it is what it is. He is there this time, and he will join the Dark Destroyers with our 3 guys in the top flight. Trump Towers, Mega Dante. Let's see how his busy month. So he beat Hertha Berlin. He lost to Sunday Strikers at home. Oh, there you go. Something had to have happened, didn't it? Toldo red carded. When your goalie gets red carded, it all falls apart. Sunday Strikers, with all due respect to Philippe Dirala, they're not the most on-form team. So he beat Sam's Bastards. He drew with Patient Rangers. Again, another red card. Fucking hell. Another red card. He then beat Watford. He then concluded his semi-final of the UEFA Cup. He beat Sunderland. He drew with Sheffield Wednesday. And then he beat Gillingham. So, you know what? He's going to make. He's got the playoffs. He's going to make some more money in the playoffs. He's going to make money on the UEFA Cup. If he can get promoted, he knows he can be rolling in it. I really, I wish you all the luck in the world. The game in hand then is look at the game in hand. It's away to Ross Horn, Dunthorpe. Now, let me remind you guys, it's quite likely that they're going to play each other in the playoffs as well. It's pretty much inevitable, I think, isn't it? He's not going to overturn that swing goal difference that Dutch Warriors have. So they're going to have the playoffs over 2 legs, semi-final, and Sharpshooters will take on Dutch Warriors. So that is absolutely crazy. Over to Ross Horn now. Then Ross Horn, we know he lost the game. No, I got that wrong. What we're talking about? He didn't lose a game at all. He's had a perfect month, hasn't he? No, not perfect. He drew with Crystal Palace. Now, he'll be really fucked off about that draw with Palace. He beat Dutch Warriors brilliantly. He beat Atletico Fife brilliantly. Glasgow United he beat. Pageant Rangers he beat. It's been a great month from Ross Horn, who changed up. He cranked it up a little bit. I did notice he cranked it up. And what a time to... it was a brave and bold move on the tactical side of things, but he's a tactical genius. He really is. And I think, a big round of applause to Ross. And I think Ross, given Matt and how Matt has dominated the league, I think you're probably going to... you are the underdog in that cup final, but I do think there's going to be people out there thinking, hope Dunthorpe do this, I really do. Not necessarily because they think Matt's a cunt, but it might be because they think Matt's a cunt. No, I think it's because you're the underdog, and everybody likes an underdog story, don't they? Over to Lee Sharples on the subject of underdogs. Now, Lee Sharples has done great. He really has done great. To bounce back from his sacking, it was Lee Sharples that had lost the game, weren't it? We knew he lost the game. So he lost to Soylent Green on the opening game of the month for him, but then he's returned with 4 straight wins out of 4, albeit against AI, 4 clean sheets. Well done, Lee. You have secured yourself a playoff spot. Will you get past Dutch Warriors? I don't know. I mean, I felt the top 4 would be the top 4 that you see right there. I felt it would be those top 4. Of course, Trump Towers might not make 4th yet. They could finish 5th. But the top 4 as it stands are the ones that I thought would be up there. So I fancy Dutch Warriors to beat Sharpshooters. Trump Towers, I would ordinarily fancy him to win his semi-final. But he's got a lot of games going on. He's had a lot. There could be a lot of fatigue. He's got a UEFA Cup final to plan for. But then saying that, Dunthorpe have got the FA Cup final. So it's going to be interesting. Sam's Bastards. Well, there's no doubt it's been a much better season. He's got a lot of injuries. Look at that. Fucking hell. Sahar injured. Shock horror. 6 injuries. 7 including the guy in light training. Ekiog suspended. Absolutely disgusting. So let's have a look at how their month went. Victory, defeat, victory, defeat, victory, victory. 5 victories. But he lost games to Soylent Green and Trump Towers, both at home. And they're the games... Oh, that's the game Ekiog got red carded in. And, you just can't afford to lose against the rivals. You really can't. But he's had a much better season than last campaign. And he won't finish no lower than 8th. Talking of 8th. Atletico 5. Connor, let's have a look at... Do we dare have a look at your fucking month, Connor? Because I think it's not been a good one, has it? So, Grimsby lost against AI 4-3. Shit in hell. The red cards. Even though Kovacic has got a hat-trick. Lost 4-3. Lost in the FA Cup. Drew at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, my God. That's disgusting. At Hammer Blackburn. Lost at Dark Destroyers. Wow. Lost against Sam's Bastards. Beat Preston, lost it. What an absolute awful... I think you've done yourself proud, to be honest with you. You have done yourself proud, Connor. I think it is a shame. It is a big shame. Trevor Choi, Paget Rangers, sorry. Let's have a look now then. You're finishing... well, you're not definitely 9th yet. You might still finish 10th, depending on how it goes. So, let's have a look now at how your month started out. Wednesday beat them. He won 2. He lost to Dunthorpe. He drew with Trump Towers. He beat Palace in North London. And then he lost. I think he just needs to put this down to another bad day at the office. Bad season at the office. Bad lifetime. he just needs to regroup. And look at that last game of the season there. Glasgow United. Now, I just said how he might finish 10th. Well, if he loses, he will finish 10th. Glasgow United, William McGregor. William, he's had a really shit second half of the season. Let's see now. Beat Sunderland, lost to Dunthorpe, lost to Dark Destroyers, beat Blackburn and Watford. He lost the two most important games. Dunthorpe scraped the victory there. Well done. Matt fucking destroyed him. He fucking raped him, didn't he? Look at that. Okay, so the battle's on for who's going to finish 9th or 10th. It don't really matter because there's no any extra prize money for where you finish in that sense. North London is red. Gary Hanks. Let's just make sure it is still Gary Hanks. It is. Don't look like it was a great month for you, was it, Gary? Okay, let's start from Dark Destroyer. He lost to Destroyers. That was, oh wow, Vieira red carded, shock horror. Now we've got to check something here. Vieira red card. Whilst on the subject, you know what that means, don't you, Matt? You know what that means. It means that he's going to miss the FA Cup final. He's going to miss the FA Cup final because he's still got a 2-game ban there, and that's going to be the last league game of the season and the FA Cup. Tough shit is what I say. That was harsh for Gary Hanks. So he lost to Dark Destroyers, he beat Watford, he beat Southampton, he lost to Gillingham. What on earth happened at Gillingham? Jesus Christ. Maybe a new goalkeeper. He lost to Underpage at Rangers. Another red card, causing the result to be really altered. His last game's not an easy game either. And finally, 13th place. He could still finish in the top 12. I would love him to make the top 12. Philip Dirala, Sunday Strikers, bit like a few of the others. He needs to just regroup, don't he? So a win, a great result. We saw that, didn't we, over Trump Towers. Defeat against Dark Destroyers. Bit of a harsh one, to be honest with you. Victory over Preston, defeat against Sam's Bastards at home, and a victory over Blackburn. But his last game is against Dunthorpe. Now that's interesting because Dunthorpe, of course, could still make 4th place. It won't make no difference to them. Now, this is the interesting thing, you see. The likes of Dunthorpe and Trump Towers, who have got an extra game in hand, who are ultimately going to finish where they are, have still got to play their strongest team. They can't take no risks because they've got cup finals to look at. So, let's go to player stats then. The average rating so far is Patrick Vieira. Look at that. Vieira's leading the way with Batistuta in second. More importantly, let's have a look at the leading goal scorer. Batistuta, 39. Inevitably, he's going to take the golden boot. £2 million there for Dark Destroyers. Ruud van Nistelrooy started out well, but he's fallen off the pace a little bit. Over to the assists now then. And Kili Gonzalez is killing it. He really is. 24. It looks like, unless, I don't know, Djordjevic has some sort of crazy last game of the season. It looks like Kili Gonzalez is going to take it. That's going to be another £2 million to Matt. You greedy bastard. But more importantly now, let's have a look at the awards. The Manager of the Month goes to Matt Collier-Brown. Matt Collier-Brown takes the Manager of the Month. That's more money. Player of the Month, Zinedine Zidane for sharpshooters. Love it. Love to see Zidane get it. Because Zidane, of course, had that big ban at the start. It's nice to see it. It's nice to see Lee, because he had to deal with that. I would love to see Lee or Ross do it. No disrespect to Miga Dante or Mark Rutgers, but Lee's had to deal with his own shit. Young Player of the Month has gone to that fucking guy whose name I dared not pronounce. So the Polish youngster. Is that his second? Yeah, it is. It's his second. Now, more importantly, this has been announced now. We are now going to see the Players' Team of the Year. I've not even seen this. Now remember, if you've got a player in this, you've got 500 grand per player. Here we go. There aren't many, is there? Oh, there it is, sorry. So, Leo Franco at Sunday Strikers. Cafu at Dark Destroyers. Zori at Trump Towers. Figo at Dutch Warriors. Totti at Soylent Green. Raul at Dutch Warriors. Batistuta at Dark Destroyers. Van Nistelrooy at Soylent Green. Kili Gonzalez. He had to be there, didn't he? Nigel Martin for Atletico 5. Diego Tristan for Dutch Warriors. Vincent Candela for Dark Destroyers. Alex for Soylent Green. And Montella for Glasgow United. So there's going to be a lot of money going out. $500,000 per player there. So for example, Dutch Warriors will get an additional £1.5 million there added to their bonuses for that. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, over to the Premier League now then. And first things first, let's have a look now then. who's got our awards? Let's have a look. Manager of the month is Arsene Wenger. We don't give a shit about that. Player of the month is Mapenza. We don't give a shit. And the young player of the month is Saviola. Now this is interesting, right? Because I keep mentioning Saviola. Look at him. Look how many young player of the month awards. The question is, will he be on the auctions next season? Or better still, will somebody snap him up as an Argentine scout? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot. Saviola is proving what a fucking player he is at Arsenal. But, we don't know. We just don't know. But more importantly, the players' team of the year. Who we got? We got Edwin van der Sar for Degeneration. We got Southgate for Run Mansion. We've got Larson for Degeneration. Beckham for Perfetico. Lennon and Vieri for Run Mansion. We've got Ambrosini for Perfetico Madrid. So bit of a balance. Bit of AI. Arsenal were always going to have some in there, weren't they? Saviola had to be in there, didn't he? He fucking had to be. So that is that. Now, the next thing, very, very interesting. The leading goal scorers, Vieri leading the way. Larson leads away on 31. Now, this is important going into the last two Premiership games. Henrik Larsson leads away. Now, I said this before. The top goal scorer, that manager, will get £2 million. In the event, Saviola scores 3 more goals in the league and Henrik Larsson doesn't score any, then Saviola will be it and Stuart Danton will not get the £2 million. They have to be the leading goal scorer out of everybody. If they're joint, they'll both get it. Of course, Saviola don't give a fuck about Arsenal, but we have to be clear about that. So hypothetically, if Vieri was to score 9 goals in the last 2 games, and Larsson was to score none, they'd both finish on 31, they'd both get 2 million. If AI finish on 31, I'm not giving them 2 million, obviously, but if they do win it outright, AI, then our guys do not get it. But you'd fancy Henrik Larsson to still keep that crown. Same applies with the assists, which goes to, well, it's none of our guys, is it? It's none of them at all. Overmars, again, this is a good emphasis that if Overmars comes on the auctions, or if you've got a Dutch scout, he can assist. You know what? I mean, look at that, 26 assists in all competitions. What a fucking season. Now that is very, very interesting. Cast your mind back to who this guy is. I know he was injury prone. Who was it? Was it Migadonte? Was it Trump Towers that had him? Or was it North London is Red? It was one of those guys. They had him and sold him to CPU. And look at the season he's produced at Liverpool. Absolutely crazy. I always like Bobby Petter on the ODB. I think he always assists like crazy. But when you look at some of the AIs here, you see the sort of players that might still come up on the next auctions. Ebby Sand, Lampard, and so on, you know. And so on and so on. So, that is it then, guys. Let's just have a quick look now then. Yeah, there's that game, the game in hand between Dunthorpe and Trump Towers. And then these are the last games of the season. The reason it's not lit up is because I've literally only just done it. So let's just do it like that. Yeah, we've got the Champions League semi-final. Not that we give a shit about that. Because AI. So let me remind you on something, guys. When I start a game, I start it on a minimum database because I don't need to have a maximum database because it's only England I'm running. And the only reason I'm running England is because that's where all our guys are. Obviously. Our guys are all England. So it does make a mockery a little bit of the European competition. And you've probably worked it out by Migadonte being in the final against Dortmund, who haven't got any players. Because it would clearly, if you look right, we look at Arsenal as an English team. They started with no players as well, but they've gone out and bought, haven't they? They've gone out and bought players all over the place. Same with Liverpool. Thierry Henry, another one to look for next season. You never know. It does make, but then it's regardless. It isn't about playing the CM concept. It's about manager. And with so much going on for next season, it's going to be an exciting season. I feel we're going to have more teams in the Premier League. I think we're going to have more rivalry in the First Division because we won't get any runaway leaders. I think there'll be a lot of deals going on. Now, on the subject of deals, guys, let me remind you what's going to happen here. I have actually got a list. I have a list. Where have I put it? I've made a list somewhere. And I don't know where I've put it. I've made a list and I don't know where I've put it. I've made a list of the plan of action as to how it's going to go for the end of the season. Now, when I say a list, order of play, I found it. Don't you panic. Now, I'm not going to tell you the order of play, but we have got a list for it, an order of play. So what's going to happen is, right, I'll tell you the first, there's actually 11 points in the order of play. Oh, 12 points, shall I say. First point, the end of season, the prize money, the bonuses, TV money for next season will all be added to people's bank accounts. Okay, that'll be the first point. Second point, I'm not going to tell you them all, and you'll understand why. Second point will be the CPU bids, which is your opportunity for everybody to choose if you want to accept it or decline it. That is going to go for a window of 2 to 3 days. We're then going to have the loans option to buy. Now, you remember, you've all got a player that's on loan. You've got the option to buy. Now, with that in mind, let's go Soylent Green, for example. So, let's go to Palermo, it was for you, weren't it, Soylent? Where is he? It was Palermo. So, Palermo. Now, he's going to cost... I don't think he'll... I mean, he might... I doubt he will, to be honest with you. But he's going to cost him. As it stands, I will work the exact amount out when we do the end of this month, because that auto value might change. But as it stands, he's going to cost £8.5 million plus another 100 grand for man of the match, plus another 400 grand for those 2 assists, plus another £2.1 million for those 7 goals. That's what he's going to cost in total if he wants to make it a permanent deal. No one is obligated to do it, but they do have the option. So that's going to last an option to buy 1 day. After the loans, we're then going to have P2P window. And a lot of you guys are all waiting for this, aren't you? You're all waiting for your P2P window. That is your that is the next point. I'm not going to tell you the next 7, 8 points because I don't want to give nothing away. The last point is going to be the auctions for next season. Okay, so there you go. Now, you should probably be able to work out, shit, what have I missed? There's a bunch more in there. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points in between that P2P window and the auctions. Okay, and I've got a list of how they're going to go and a window of time. So, stay tuned. So that's it from me, guys, on the King of the Dugout. The next video will be the conclusion of Season 2. We're going to have glory for some, we're going to have heartbreak for some, but it leads me to say a big well done to Matt. Matt's done phenomenal. Take nothing away from the likes of Almo and also Mark Rutgers and Miguel Dante, because they've hit 100 points, which in itself is a great fucking achievement. Because, you know, it's not as if it's jump out of AI, because it's not. You know, there's half the teams now that are AI. I think Ross Horn deserves a lot of credit. I think he's done absolutely brilliant. Mark Rutgers, you know, a nice consolation for you will be to go up in the playoffs after the FA Cup defeat. Miguel Dante, I want you to win that UEFA Cup. I'm cheering you on. Who do I want to win the playoffs? Who do I want to win? I probably should be impartial. I would like to see either Ross Horn or Lee Sharples, only because of an underdog perspective. Who do I think's going to win? I don't think they'll do it, if I'm really honest with you. I think it'll be a Dutch Warriors Trump Towers final. But you never know, you never know. Sam's Bastards, after a horrid season last campaign, he's going in the right direction. And next season is your time. Connor, you surpassed expectations. Keep it going. Paget Rangers, you've gone up a little bit. Keep it going. Glasgow United, William, you just need that next push. And as for Gary Hanks and Philip Durala, well, I can't say anything to praise you two guys, because you're an absolute disgrace to the King of the Dugout. Jesper Rodman, wow, just wow. Degeneration and Pathetico, the battle's on now. This is important as to who finishes second, because whoever finishes second will get automatic qualification into the Champions League. Whoever finishes third, of course, will have 2 extra games, and they'll have the qualifiers, which of course means they may drop into the UEFA Cup should they fail. And finally, let's just go to our current champion then in the Premier League, our first EPL champion. He picked up a couple of stars over the turn of season 1 to 2, but he's still not, you know, when you look at Jesper's squad there, right, and then you look at Jesper's lineup, and then you look at Matt Collier-Brown's, you know, there is a big difference in quality. Matt will be a force next season, I think there's no doubt about that. But I feel that maybe people are getting the hang now and playing it a little bit more different. You know, ZZ Roberts. A quick gander there. So will he buy ZZ Roberts, who he's got on loan? He's going to cost him 1.2, 1.3. He's going to cost him £10 million. It's just over 10 million, 10 million and 50 grand. I tend to round that down or up when it's 50 because we don't try and have increments of 50,000. So it's gonna 8.7 plus 1.2 for the goals plus 100 grand for the man of the match. So will he take it? I don't know. Probably won't. He could probably get a bit better for 10 million. Who knows? The loans is going to be an interesting one. So that's it from me, guys. Until next time, take it easy.